So to show you how wild this is, I can put a golfer in here. This is actually one of my students' swings. And I get a view of it here. You can see how crazy it is. And I put these reactive balls. We're going to change his hand path eventually. It's a little bit steeper so that he's faster. This was my student. He's got a good swing. And he's swinging on the grid plane and then getting up on this secondary plane, which is here. You can see this lights up and I can move this plane. But you're swinging up to a higher plane is what it's doing right there. So in other words, this here is Hogan's pane of glass. I can set that anywhere I want through his, he had it through his neck, and so I just set it through his neck like that. He never breaks the pane of glass. Comes underneath it and stays on the grid line. So you can take a good player's hand path and actually have him follow the path. But since he's a little wider with this path, he tends not to get the distance he wants. So to get speed, what you do is set up these reactive balls, and I change his hand path to a slightly more U-shape. And your speed will pick up, swing speed will pick up 20 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour, if you optimize the hub path, which is simply the point between both hands. It's science and physics. But you can see how wild this technology is. And I can move these things anywhere I want or record any swing I want. So I can carry this around. Sit back here. Now it's a virtual club he's using, but you can actually put a real club in and hit balls this way and get feedback right away. It's the one way of teaching feel that was missing from golf. And I can provide the techniques and feels that you need and practice them, have the student practice it. And it doesn't take a lot of swings, 5 swings. But this is a very good swing. It's just we're going to make it better. And I can move these balls around and do different things. You know, if he's not quite there, you can adjust these to get these just ever so slightly different. You know, and he hits those paths. And I guarantee you, he'll get better. Just by hitting the first ball, you'll get a longer arc. So it's really, the technology is something I've been waiting for my whole life, and it's there now. And there's no excuses anymore. And to reset it, you simply hit a button here. It resets it to white. So I'll show you again in fast motion here. So you just get over it, you set it up, and you swing on those balls. And that will record now that swing. And here's the path now changed. I changed it. Just by hitting the green balls on the swing. Totally different swing path. The marvels of technology. It's just absolutely wonderful what can be done. Here. So if I have a ring around the neck and it's baseball, I can do a circle like that and then finish the swing. So my head stays very still. An easy way of seeing it is like this. You have your grip and you go. It's this baseball swing and it goes over your head. You turn your hip, it's turning the circle, and then turning the circle back. That's Cmotion. And then when you deliver it, you have this turn that squares you into the ball. And so it's good. Keeps your head very still. Also gives you that U-shaped hand path. This is for Allen's turtling. If you just had a small hoop and you turn it over your head and it says, you can look at the camera and you know what Cmotion is. It's baseball. Baseball hitters do this. They turn like this. When you have a club in your hand, it's simply a baseball grip. And it's the same thing. It do the circle and then swinging from the head like that. Finish the circle. Very powerful. Then you hit balls with it. Cancel out, zero out on path and all that stuff. And it's not hard to do. You can hit balls doing that all day long. As an example, that was a little wedge. Not swinging hard. You know, your head stays on the target and you get that release to get these kind of numbers and that kind of straight flight. Cmotion. 140 yards out of a pitching wedge. Only swinging. No side spin. Not even a fast swing. 72 miles an hour. And I'm capable of in the 80s. So you could pick up another 20 yards if you want. Cmotion. And you'll see how the numbers just continue to zero out. 140 yards on a pitching wedge, and I'm not swinging hard, 70 miles an hour. Slap hinge, reach out. Slap hinge, reach out. I told that. Slap hinge, reach out. So do the circle, baseball. You know, I showed you baseball, there's a railing system, comes off your head and it slips down like that. That's all it is. It's just the plane's lower, so you're hitting low pitch. So I've got a ball in the toe line, but if I hinge up like Hogan, I can still mix and match Cmotion. So it's the same principles because Hogan was the same principles. He would cock up like that. See his waggle. Cocks up, which means I have to swing a little bit more out towards the target line here. That. And another thing he does is he turns his back in his pivot more, showing the numbers they call in baseball. Back behind the head. And then the back floats towards the pitcher. And then you release. And you have Hogan's look. Like this. And that's because he used to hook, so he wants to anti-hook. Everything so he doesn't hook. So you add that all together. And because I'm cocking up this time with my wrists, it should be longer if I hit it right. So that's a hit 165 yards and roll. It's 80-mile-an-hour club head speed with the pitching wedge, which is pretty fast. And it's baseball. Cmotion. The ball hit dead in the center of the club face because you're not wandering your head. You've got it here and it stays still. Your eyes and everything. You're swinging in a circle. So Hogan used to say, complete my circle. You can think of it as the circle I showed earlier and complete it. But you can think of it as the club head completion of the circle. It's not actually a circle, but that doesn't matter. It's just a simple thought to pound a baseball. Back to the target. Boom. You know, chest automatically comes back and you remain in balance that way. I'm in balance.
Controlled aggression. Turn, don't sway. Knee to knee in the impact zone. Drive through and complete the circle.